Hello and welcome to this second video of our online Illustrator workshop where we will learn how to use tools in depth and use layers as well. So this is our artboard, and for this example to work with tools we are going to build something simple like a house. But before that we should look at just some simple tools. Down here is the magnifying glass. If you want to zoom in you can do so, just click on the screen, and if you want to zoom out, hold Alt and then click. Or you can click and drag in or out, to the left or right. Just above the magnifying glass is the artboard, so I will click that. We can change the dimensions of our current artboard, or we can make another. There are a few different ways we can make this house. We can start with a rectangle shape. You can either click and a rectangle will be made, or you can click and drag. You can click the little squares in the corners to stretch it. If you don't want it to stretch while you make it bigger, you can hold Shift and it holds the shape. It doesn't stretch at all. That looks like a good shape. So I'll just click here in the middle until I have this arrow, and I'll put it down. Inside the rectangle are these little circles. If I click and drag to the inside, it makes the rectangle rounded, but we are going to keep it square. I would like to change the color of this rectangle, so I will make sure to select it by clicking it, and then I can either go over to the tools or the properties. So over in the tools I can double click this fill, the white part, and just choose a color. Or I'll do Ctrl Z. I can click fill over by appearance in the properties tab. There are some swatches here, or I can go to the color mixer and choose a color. It's hard to see, but on the outside of this rectangle there is still a black outline. That is called the stroke. So I want to get rid of that. I'm going to select this rectangle, and I can either double click the stroke in the Tools tab and make it white, or you can click this slash and then there will be no stroke. Let's make this white again so it's easier to see. So the stroke is black. If I don't want it to be black, I can just press none. Make sure the shape is selected, press none, and then there's no stroke. But let's make it red again. The fill. There are a few different ways we can make the roof as a triangle. In the rectangle, I can right click and go to polygon. I'll click and then choose 3 sides for a triangle, and I'll just stretch it out here. If I wanted to move both of these shapes at the same time, I can click and drag to select both of them and move them around. But if I only select one, then only that moves around. Like I said, there are a few ways to make these shapes. So what we did with the rectangle and triangle was use the shape tools, but we can also use the pen tool to make shapes if we wanted to. Or you can use the curvature tool to make curved lines. But we are going to get rid of that by selecting it and press delete. So now we have the base of our house. Let's add some doors and windows. I don't want this to move around while I'm making the doors and windows. I don't want to have it be selected. So I'm going to go to layers, and then on this layer, there's a little space here. If I click that, it toggles a lock, so I cannot edit it or move it. But then I want to be able to add doors and windows. To do that, I'm going to add a new layer on top of this. To add a new layer, go to the bottom, and there's a little plus sign in a square that creates a new layer. So layer 1 is our base, and layer 2 is our doors and windows. This little icon, if you click it, then you can't see that layer, but we'll keep it. I'm going to use the pen tool to make that door and windows we're talking about. If you want a straight line, press shift and then it'll be straight. There is my door. I'll just finish it off. And then let's make the color kind of a gray. There's also an eyedropper tool. Let me unlock this. There's an eyedropper tool, so if I wanted this to be a certain color without trying to find that color, I can click on the shape that I want to change the color, go to the eyedropper tool, and select the color I want, and it will change to that color, but we'll do Control Z. So now I will make the window real quick. Doesn't have to be good, just something quick. So I just made a quick, simple window. Let's see what happens when I put layer 2 under layer 1. When I put layer 2 under layer 1, it's going to disappear because the base is in front of the doors and windows, but we want the doors and windows to be in front of the base. If we select the pen tool, right-click, and go to anchor point tool, if I click anywhere on the stroke out here and click and drag, then I can bend the shape. So if you want your shapes to be bendy or to be changed a little, you can do that here. You also have a text tool. You can select that and click, or click and drag. I'm going to type hello world. It's very small, so I want to increase the size. I will do that by selecting the text, going over to properties, and then over here under the character, I will change the size to 72. And then you can also change the font to lots of different fonts. You can change the color of the text. Another important feature you can do is you can select a shape and kind of make it see-through with the opacity. If you go to properties and then it's under the stroke, go to opacity. If you turn that down, it will be see-through. And then there's also the paintbrush tool, so if you wanted to paint something, you could do that there. That is all the tools a beginner should be able to use when they're jumping into Illustrator. I'm going to export my image, and here it is. There are a lot of fun things you can do with Illustrator. Please explore and find other tools as you advance in Illustrator. Thank you for watching this second video on our online Illustrator workshop.